Welcome to the EMP. What is it called, Natalie?
The EMP, Eligible Monster Podcast.
Yes. I am Benny, one of your hosts, joined by Natalie, another of your hosts. And that is all that is here today. No one else needs to talk.
Oh, man.
And I am no one else.
Oh.
That is my name.
He is
As
Dan
usual,
T.
Dan
Editor.
is here. Dan is loving himself. Dan is loving his nipples. Running gag on our Twitch channel for those of you who are completely clueless.
People had forgotten and you just kind of brought it back up.
They'll never forget. I will always
Yeah.
bring them up.
Yeah.
No.
Well, they will forget. Benny will never forget.
Benny will
and
never
he'll
forget.
never let me forget.
Never forget. For
Never
my
forget.
life to be. I don't know.
So, Ben, what is the topic we're talking
Yeah.
about today?
Today's topic, for those of you guys who are wondering, this is our Eligible Monster Podcast. We talk about some big gaming topics or stuff we enjoy
But I
every
said
week.
that already.
Hold on. But it does go early to our Patreon,
Yes.
patreon.com/comicstorian. We do share it with Comicstorian. We didn't see a need to have two separate podcasts, Patreon things. We thought we'd give you all the early access for everything we do in one location. So if you do like this and you want to get it early, please consider going to our Patreon. The link to that will be down below. Now, today's topic is probably one that's going to fill most of the day. It's about gaming being officially classified as a mental disorder. But before we can
Gaming
get to that,
addiction.
Yes.
gaming addiction, yes.
Very-
Good idea. Good call.
Yeah.
But before we can get to that, Dan, what have you been playing this week?
What have I been playing? Well, I've been playing a game that I can totally remember off the top of my head, and I'm not making this conversation so that I can remember what I've been playing.
You called
I've
yourself
been
out.
playing. I've been playing some Ori still. My problem with with Ori is it's not very guided. So every time I take a break and I go back, I spend the majority of my time trying to remember where I was.
Yeah, where was I? Yeah.
And but you know, besides that, that's kind of been what I've been playing. We finally got back to our 14 raids this week, which was
Yeah.
pretty fun when we knocked those out. Mm-hmm. And yeah, what about yourself, Natalie?
I've actually been trying to finish Vampire finally. I've been playing some Honey Pop too. Don't judge me. This is a really chill game. Like, you know, it's what it is, right? It's just
That's the anime boobs.
yeah, essentially, yeah. And I've been playing a lot of that alongside watching E3 because yeah, you guys were gone, so I had no choice.
That's true. I forgot
yeah.
that was included in this past week.
That's right. And then I mean, apart from that, really Dark Souls. That's it. What about you, Ben?
I actually started up playing Unraveled 2, and Dan and I have been going
All
crazy on
right.
Hyrule Warriors.
Yes, I was. When she mentioned the E3, it reminded me that we played so much of the Hyrule Warriors in our off time.
Okay, Natalie, let me ask you this. Let me
what's
ask
up?
you this, okay?
What's up?
A little question for you. Mm-hmm. You think Hyrule Warriors, right? What do you think, character-wise?
I mean, I think Link, obviously. The female version of Link.
Linkle?
Because I've seen it.
She is her own unique character.
Ga-
Do not hold her back.
Ganon, because I've seen him too.
Yep, Ganon. When you were, if you were going to play Hyrule Warriors, what character do you think you'd want to be?
Sheik. Is it Sheik?
Yes, Sheik's one of them. Yeah.
Sheik. There you
You'd
go.
want to be Sheik?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you know who Dan picked?
Yes, would you like to know who I picked?
I mean, I
played Link. I played Ganon,
I'm not quite
Midna,
sure.
Linkle.
I'm not
I
quite sure
played-
if I'll know who it is that you
You
picked,
won't.
but
Marin.
I have no idea who that is.
She is from A Link's Awakening, and her weapon is a giant bell, which when
How does
she
that
attacks,
work?
it shoots out water bubbles. And my ultimate was calling in the skyfish?
Yes.
Basically, I just drop a giant whale on people.
That sounds fantastic. I don't know about.
Is super fun.
Right?
I was not expecting to enjoy a character as
as much.
obscure
Yeah.
as
That's like she
Marin.
was a girl in a blue dress.
Yeah, at first
She
we were
didn't
like, "Who
look
is this?"
interesting.
Well, at first I thought she was Milan from the Lon Lon Ranch.
So
Right.
they thought he was going to have horses.
I thought my bell was going to bring Epona and just have a stampede,
Epona, yeah.
which would have been really cool.
I
Hyrule Warriors
do
developers, take note.
I do know who Epona is, so there's that. Yeah.
Natalie's not a Zelda fan. Dan and I have finally convinced her to try Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
because it's open world and it's not because I'm not a fan of puzzle games, and that's what essentially Zelda is. It's just a bunch of
There
at
is-
least the older Zelda titles. I should say.
There are puzzle games in Breath of the Wild. I will say that because there are ones where in some of the shrines where you have to actually think of how to make things go in certain ways, but
Right.
not all of them are required.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong, because people are going to assume that I just don't like thinking when it comes to video games. It's not that, but when it's literally like the whole game revolves around solving puzzles, that just kind of just takes the fun away from it.
Yeah,
In my
and
opinion.
this one's definitely
Yeah.
mostly combat oriented.
There you go. So I will enjoy it then in that case. But yeah, I mean, I might actually. What are you doing?
No, I'm responding to Rob. Rob texted me about an important thing real quick.
Damn it, Rob.
I'm listening.
I know, because sometimes
You know I multitask.
I know.
Why is everyone
This
giving me
is the
shit?
weirdest thing, because sometimes you don't think he's listening, but then we'll have a whole conversation and you'll just pitch in like 10 minutes later, and he
Yeah.
was just looking at his phone the entire time. So we're like, I'm
I'm a
pretty sure
king
he's
at
not.
multitasking.
Yeah, you really are. You
Yeah,
really
but
are. It's
the
impressive.
problem is sometimes you aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it hard, because we could be in the middle of something and go, "What do you think, Benny?" And you'll be like, "I
so-
was playing
yeah.
on my phone."
Yeah, I have no idea what you guys
Fire
are talking
Emblem
about.
got some new heroes. I was trying to
They got a
summon
new one coming.
I know, not yet though.
I
I'm
know.
excited.
No, man.
I've been keeping an eye out.
Other than that, I played Unraveled with Sal from Comic Pop.
Yes, you beat it.
Beautiful game. Great gameplay. Story makes no goddamn sense.
Oh, why not?
The whole thing is about love will get you through anything.
Well, there you
But,
go.
I didn't even
You
get
got
the
it.
feel. The game ended with just a text block on the screen. We made this game so that you know that the bonds of love will help you get through anything. And I'm like, wait, what?
You know why? Because you've been playing by yourself until Sal showed up.
No, but nothing extra happened.
You were supposed to, well, what I'm saying is you're supposed to be with your co-op partner and go through all these levels with your co-op partner.
Yeah.
And at the very end, you're just supposed to, to be with your co-op partner and just be like, oh, we went through the whole game together. Yeah, it's all about love.
You were supposed to play it with me.
I know.
It's actually a relationship test. If you can't get
Yes.
through it with your significant other, I'm sorry.
Well,
but
then
they-
me and
they may
Sal
not
are
be
Exactly.
significant others at this point because we did Unravel too.
There
Did
you
you-
go. You
but-
unraveled
yeah.
each other.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. When you guys actually beat the whole game together, did you just look at each other's eyes and just, took a moment to just appreciate that you guys beat it together?
Tips.
I
Beat it
touched
together.
his knee when we were done. I'm like, so
Oh, you
apparently it's
did?
about love, Sal.
His knee.
I love you, buddy.
And what did he say? Did he
He
say
just
that?
laughed. You know, Sal. He gets awkward as hell if there's any guy love going on.
Yeah.
It's guy love.
He doesn't watch Scrubs, I don't think.
Aw,
Oh
I
man.
miss Scrubs.
You won't even hear this. Everyone tweet Sal for me. We hear you had a guy love moment with Benny. Just tweet
Yeah.
that.
Oh man, he's gonna feel so awkward now.
He will. That's the best part about Sal.
and he won't even understand what's going on either because he doesn't listen to us. So so there's that. But yeah. So you've played Unraveled and
That's pretty
and,
much it.
and
I did
Horizon.
some more Horizon Zero
Yeah,
Dawn.
Horizon. Yeah, because I've been down there with you.
Yeah.
Maybe I should.
I've been going back and forth in that one.
maybe
so
I should.
I had Horizon Zero Dawn all the way down to story mode just to be easy, but it was way too easy because I just want to. Everyone says
You
the
want to
story's
play
amazing.
it, but you don't want to die every 5 minutes.
No, exactly. There's some games I'll go into and I'll crank up that difficulty and I want a challenge. And for some reason with Horizon, I just want to explore the world.
You want a challenge?
Experience the story. I don't want to.
What did you play God of War on easy then?
I don't think God of War on easy. I played it on normal. You played it on easy.
Well, he played it on
obviously.
normal, but he played it on hard because of the fact that he didn't
Hard,
realize
yeah,
you could
yeah.
upgrade anything or
God.
level any abilities
or use his goddamn ally.
or use anything besides parry
Yes.
attack. Parry
I was so
attack.
good at parrying. So after going through God of War like that, pretty much putting it on like God mode
Yeah.
of difficulties.
Yeah, but it's funny because I do the same thing, especially in Vampire. I was like, okay, well, I pretty much I decided to just make it harder on myself and just not bite other people, which pretty much gives you XP, and that's how you level up. So I just went through the entire game without killing people and giving myself XP. And I'm pretty much at the end now, and I think the boss is like 15 levels higher than I am.
Damn.
And but like the whole maybe 3 or 4 hours at first I was just not upgrading my weapon, so I was just making it harder for myself. So I know exactly what he's talking about when he's saying that he's made it a lot harder on himself at first. And
Yeah.
I'm like the master at doing that, and then I'm like, oh, the game's actually enjoyable when you actually do it right. When you play it right, it's a lot more enjoyable. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
When
Well,
it
so
comes
when
to
I got
that.
to Horizon, I've heard nothing but good things about the story. No one mentioned really the gameplay, so I kind of figured it would be kind of like standard fare. I'm actually really enjoying the gameplay.
Everyone told you that it was so fun with the axe and stuff that you could just, like
We're
just
talking
call
Horizon
back.
Zero Dawn again now.
Oh, you are. Sorry, I'm completely.
Who's
I'm
not
still in
paying
like God of
attention
War.
now?
I'm still in God of War mode, dude. I'm sorry. Yeah.
To be fair, God of War was a great game, so I understand the one.
No, I
Sorry.
love. The comments.
Oh,
is not really
Horizon
was.
is incredible though, especially in 4K. Oh my God. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
But anyway, yeah, no. For God of War, I wanted to see the battle system as hard as I could because I remember the originals playing those on hard. Horizon, I kind of got into, and I think I kind of burned out on open world titles to an extent, just for a little temporary period. So I was like, I just want to experience the story. That's all I want. I just want to see what the big deal is with this game. And if I enjoy it, maybe I'll crank the difficulty up, go for the trophies or whatever. Because like one of them is beat it on very hard. So I'm like, maybe I'll do it then. Like, so I'll experience it like normal.
Wait, Horizon?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
There's the expansion trophies. Don't worry, the platinum's not locked behind it.
Yeah, because I already have it, so I didn't recall having to play it on hard.
The expansion trophies added a very hard trophy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was like, if I like it, I'll go back through on this difficulty and I'll do it that way. So I started on story mode. It's you don't even have to shoot the arrow. You don't have to do nothing. You can just beat everything down with like the R1 button. It's just like, this is too easy. So then I brought it up to like normal or hard. I forget which one it was. Then I go to very hard. I went because I was like, I already botched that trophy. So I went to like normal or hard. And I was like, it's just challenging enough where I have to think about what I'm doing. And I don't want to.
It needs to be a sort of auto-playable.
Well, because I
game.
keep getting on that game after we're all doing like Overwatch or something that really like fully taxed my mind to really be, reflex happy and trigger happy.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't want to think.
Yeah,
Whatever.
exactly. I don't want to think, and I just want to enjoy the story, but I wanted a little challenge. So I've been playing this game of kind of going back and forth between hard and story and like in the middle grounds. So like I'll go into a fight, I'm like, yeah, that was so epic. And then I'll go into the next one, like, oh my God, it's hard. Story mode, crush. And we're back up to normal.
Oh man,
It's weird.
What game did you do that with? I think there was another game that you did that with. I don't remember.
I do most of the time the Call of Duties and the Dooms on easy.
Yes.
Because I like to feel like I'm literally Rambo.
Yes. But I mean,
I'm
Fair
running.
enough.
It's
Like
different.
everyone's like, take cover and everything. No, I want to run in there with the machine gun, melee one guy, shoot the other guy, jump over the table, choke this guy
so you
out.
mean in any demo that they come out with?
Yeah, I want to recreate the demo.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's all I want
fair.
to do. I just want to recreate demos. I do that with a lot of the shooters. Like Call of Duties, a long time ago, I used to do them on veteran mode, which is it's literally peekaboo. I hate it. I don't like it because you hide, you shoot, you go back down, recover HP, you shoot, you go back down. It's not enjoyable. Like I like a difficult game that's enjoyable, like Dark Souls or something like that, where you feel rewarding. Not like, man, I found the cheese.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm getting through.
That's kind of why I'm kind of worried about From Software teaming up with Activision on Sekiro, because Activision's known for all the Call of Duties and stuff and holding your hand when it comes to video games. So I'm really scared
Yeah.
of how it's gonna where it's gonna be, where it's gonna
It is
go.
going to be
but
interesting.
Yeah.
So,
We'll see.
okay, let's go to our big topic then, unless Dan's got more to add to this.
Yes.
No.
And what did you've already said what you played, Natalie, right? Yeah, you did.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Oh,
We
you
all kind of
wasn't paying
talked amongst. I
attention.
wasn't sure.
You weren't paying attention.
I was.
No.
You were talking Neo.
No, I was not.
He was paying attention.
No,
he just
Vampire, that was
wasn't paying enough attention to remember it.
Yeah,
is all.
obviously. Yeah. Good thing
Where are we
Dan
going?
asked me. Goddamn.
All right, so gaming addiction as a mental disorder.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The
Yes.
first time I read about that when I woke up, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" But then I read into it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's one of those ones that it's going to get a lot of different people assuming that it means you play a lot of games, you have a gaming addiction, mental disorder.
Yep.
When in reality, it's you have an addiction to the point that you are incapable of performing other tasks that you need to do because you are so addicted to playing the game.
Yes.
It's just like a gambling addiction.
I was gonna say that's the example I was gonna go with. A gambling addiction. Everyone likes to say, "Oh, you're just addicted to gambling and you just like the rewards." But there's a difference between an actual gambling addiction
Mm-hmm.
and an actual, I just really enjoy it, but I can keep it in check.
Exactly.
A great example is you'll have to do the loot boxes on on a lot of your microtransaction games, which
Yeah.
does qualify as gambling because you're just buying loot boxes.
Mm-hmm.
But you know when to stop so you can pay your rent. You're not allowing
Yeah.
yourself to spend so much
I've
money that
struggled with that, for the record.
so you're a
Really?
borderline gambling addiction, but
Yeah.
you're not. You haven't
guys are
gone to the
great
point where the
examples
detriment
then.
to your life.
Especially
Exactly.
Ben. You guys are great examples, especially Ben.
Well, me
It's-
too. I
comes
don't.
to that.
But see, and that become like, that's another thing though, is I make sure that I do have the money to spend on these loot boxes. It's
Right.
not like that South Park episode where Stan spends like 15 grand in one night, because that's an addiction where you are incapable of controlling yourself to make these purchases, to perform these actions. Gaming addiction is very similar, especially when it comes to competitive gaming.
Yeah.
Because when you do competitive gaming, there's that gambling
Sense of
side
reward.
of it. Exactly. There's a sense of reward where you're playing and you can lose 30 times and you're like, no, I'm done. But people with an addiction will go, but this next one could be my win.
Yeah.
And then they win and they're like, well, I'm not going to stop my
Yep.
streak.
Yep.
Then they go another one, they lose, but they're like, well, I mean, I won again this previous one. And so then it becomes this actual problem. The biggest thing that's going to come out of this that will be negative is going to be the people who simply are going to say that they have a gaming addiction when in actuality it's just they do not properly adjust their time played with other activities that they have to do, like is being a normal adult. Just like you could watch Netflix all day or work on this other thing. That's not a Netflix addiction. That's not having the discipline to go, okay, I should probably work on this other stuff.
Yeah.
If it was, you need to work on this other stuff, but you are simply incapable of not watching Netflix, that's an addiction.
Right.
It's you stop playing a game, you leave, and no matter what else you're doing nothing but thinking about the game. You're okay, well, I should go back and play it. I mean, I left when I was on a streak. I should go back and make sure I keep my streak going. And that's where the addiction portion comes into play.
Right.
And I honestly think that gaming addiction being classified as an actual mental illness was a very good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a very good thing because there are people who legitimately suffer from gaming addictions that often get brushed under the rug because people think it's just you're gaming too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a poor aspect in culture nowadays where people see streamers playing games all the time, and so in their head they think, okay, well, if I play games all the time, it's okay as well. And they're forgetting the
That's their
aspect of,
livelihoods.
for
Yeah.
them, it's their livelihood, it's their job.
Yeah.
And so when they do
There's
it,
a lot of times we'll play a game for 4 or 5 hours, and then Dan and I won't touch gaming for the rest of the evening.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when we're doing
You
the
just-
stream stuff. Same thing with you.
Yeah, I
Like
just-
you
I
guys are
just
about to
wanna
do
be left
Detroit. You're
alone.
probably
Yeah.
going to do it in like large segments.
I'm excited about that.
I see the both
Yeah.
of you kind of burn it out, and
Oh,
like, at the
absolutely.
end, like so, like you coming up to me and be like, Ben, let's go watch a movie. Like I just
Yeah.
did 6 hours of Detroit.
Yeah.
Because for the record, the only way you guys are going to get through Detroit in a reasonable time is to do it in that manner.
I figured.
Yeah, it's going to be like a 3-day sprint of you two doing it, is what I was thinking. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Sounds good. But yeah, because this entire thing actually reminded me of an incident recently with a League of Legends streamer named Tyler One. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him. He was basically, for a while, he was banned from League of Legends for at least a year, maybe even 2 years. I can't remember exactly. But basically, he would flame other people. He would get really pissed off.
Oh, God.
He would rage. Like that was what he did. He got banned. But then over time, he started to adjust himself. And like they finally were like, okay, your ban is lifted. You're not allowed to do these things. And so, but he got back into the game. And the problem is he's a good player.
Right.
So that's why like a lot of people would enjoy watching him. He's very well known for his Draven play. But so recently there was, I don't know how recently, but there was an incident where he had gotten a couple games with these people who just kept throwing the matches. He wasn't allowed to like yell at them in any way because then he would get banned despite them throwing the matches. And there was a clip that went up of him just yelling about the game. He's just yelling like, this game is so unfair. I hate it. And then he says, but I'm addicted. I can't stop playing and I hate it because I'm addicted to this game and they're not fixing it and I can't do this stuff. And it really opened your eyes because he loves the game.
Mm-hmm.
Most people would go, well, if you hate it so much and all of that, just stop playing. And it's like,
I can't.
but
I
you're
physically
exactly,
can't.
you can't.
Yeah.
It's a part of your life. It's for him. It was his livelihood, but it was also that aspect of, I mean, obviously he enjoys winning because he's used to winning because he can carry games. Like the guy's a really good gamer. I'm like, as a person, I'm not the biggest fan, but I understand other people's enjoyment of watching him stream.
Right.
He's a great player. But that was just a very real thing to hear of someone basically saying how much they're pissed off about the situation that they're in, but there's nothing they can do about it and they can't stop playing because the game is their lives. And that
Ninja's
was
been saying
exacerbated.
stuff like that about Fortnite right now.
Who?
You catch Ninja at the right time?
Yes.
He does nothing but bitch about it, like, but he can't stop playing it.
Exactly. Like, and
Yeah,
for
but I
these
think it's
people,
for different reasons, though.
Well, it's his livelihood.
Exactly. It's his he's not really, he can't stop playing because he knows that that's why people are watching him.
But that brings up the other thing of it's their addiction is exacerbated by the fact that even if they wanted to quit, they can't because their livelihood depends on it. So they have two reasons to need to play the game. And so it's kind of like if you were addicted to smoking cigarettes and you were in a movie where your character required you to smoke cigarettes, you're not going to be able to quit because it's also a part of your job.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt that's a thing anymore, but I mean, I'm sure someone in the comments is going to correct me there. But I was just using that as an example for someone, for the look of it as you can't always just say to someone, well, if you don't enjoy it, stop playing it. Or if you get so angry about it, stop playing it. Because that's simply not an option for some people. Mm-hmm. And that's where being declared an actual illness of gaming addiction is a good thing, because it really finally goes, okay, guys, this is something we need to deal with.
Right.
Yeah.
There are people that need help in this department. And if you just brush them off as, no, you need to just not play as much. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, you just need to stop doing heroin as much. Like, it's not just simply go, oh, do this. Oh, wow, I'm so glad you said that. I'm perfectly fine now.
Yeah.
Well, there's three clear things that decide the difference between someone who just enjoys it as a hobby, someone who's an actual
Let's hear them,
behavior.
because I'm assuming you've got them.
One is that the gaming behavior takes precedence over other activities to the extent that other activities are taken to
Oh man, I know what this is. Going.
I can't pronounce that word. Come over here, Dan.
Periphery?
Periphery. What does it mean? What does it mean, Dan?
Like peripheral vision.
It wasn't on my word of the day calendar this
It's
week.
like peripheral vision. It's on it's not your main focus. It's just in the periphery.
Word of the day.
Okay, so everything else in your life is that.
It's basically the stuff that you know is there, but you're not focusing. You don't care. Like, I mean, you're aware that something's there, but your focus is not on that.
Yep.
Like right now, Natalie is in my periphery because I know she's there, but I'm focused on talking to you.
So you're
and
addicted to me?
Well, it is my livelihood.
All right, the second feature is impaired control of these behaviors. Even when negative consequences occur, this behavior continues and escalates. A diagnosis of gaming disorder then means that a persistent or reoccurrent behavior pattern of sufficient severity that has emerged. and they classify that over the course of 12 months is typically. So like,
Okay.
if you're hooked
So
on a
it's
game
not-
of Overwatch and you missed picking up Kaylee at her job or something like that, that's not
yeah.
gaming disorder. But if you did it for 12 months,
Yeah.
that's a problem.
It's basically binging versus addicting.
Yeah. The third feature is that condition leads to significant distress and impairment is personal. Family, social, educational, occupational functioning. The impact is really said it may include disturbed sleep patterns like diet problems or deficiency in physical activity. Now, I will say, and I know you're going to think,
Oh, no,
I will say, I
don't-
had a gaming, based
Yeah.
on these,
Yeah.
when me and her were playing Final Fantasy 11 and I was
Yeah.
in the military and I was stateside, it became a problem. I
Yeah.
didn't care about anything else
I also had the
except
same
getting
problem.
on with her in the evening, and that
yeah,
was it.
I also had the same problem, but it was just
we
involving
first moved to
me.
Colorado.
Yeah, when we first moved to Colorado. And
I wasn't
think
going to
we-
volunteer you for that, but
I know, and I think that's the only time that I can relate to this disorder, and then
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you guys were able to pull me out of it and like make me see that I actually had a problem.
Yeah,
'Cause I
yours is
didn't
probably
wanna
a little bit
admit to
because
it.
mine was like
Yeah.
I hated the job I was in. I didn't like what was going on. The only thing I had going for me was Natalie. She was playing 11,
Yes.
so that was our focus. Every day
Yeah.
was like we got to make sure the world revolves around
But
getting
but
this
at the
game
same
done.
time, we were kind of like we didn't have we
There's
didn't.
a lot of
yeah.
other factors that were
Yes.
going in, but I think it led to that.
Yeah.
Yours, I would say, is more clinically what this is.
No, definitely, yeah.
So we had moved to
Definitely.
Colorado, and for those of you who have been on the Eligible Monster channel for a very long time,
Yeah.
you know that there was a period when Comic Storian was taking off, and Eligible Monster took a huge hit. We didn't produce content.
Well, that
We didn't
too,
do
but
anything.
also because some people were extremely rude in the comments, and that kind of just made me take a step back.
I'm saying
Yeah.
during
I
that
was just-
period, I kind of took over and
Yeah.
was trying to
did.
maintain the channel for Natalie.
Yeah.
That's the period when we did like gaming comic books over here, and we were doing that.
And I
Natalie,
focused- I was
because
fo-
the
yeah.
comments were so mean over here.
Yeah.
And she was just getting so absorbed into 14, and moving to Colorado was like it was a big change. She
Yeah.
fell into a depression, which led to gaming addiction. And it was an actual issue. And I tried to help her through it. And I mean, I'll sound like a dick here, but after a year, it got to the point where I literally was like, you need to get help or you need to get over this.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because after
true.
a year of her just ignoring me, ignoring our life, ignoring everything,
Yeah.
it was like, I can't be with you. Like, I will help you through this if you get help.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't have a gaming addiction. I don't have a gaming addiction. But she would get up at like 9, 10 o'clock. She would barely even say good morning to me. Go sit down in Final Fantasy 14.
It's true. Well, at the same time, I was also trying to turn that addiction into something that would that would make us money, pretty much, which was where the whole like 14 videos came out.
Yeah.
And I mean, something good came out of it at least, but
Well,
I
that
do
was when she
agree.
made her own little side project,
Yes.
but it became a thing where her entire life was wake up, play Final Fantasy 14, run
Yeah.
all the content down.
Yeah.
I would go to
That's
bed
just
at
how I
like
wanted
9,
to
10
deal with
o'clock,
depression, but
and
at the
she
same
would stay
time,
up past
yeah.
me playing the game.
It was
Yeah.
not. Yeah, it was not healthy.
I'd have to drag
Looking
you out of the
back on
house
it.
to get food. Most of
Yeah.
the time, I'd feed you, like bring you food. You just eat it at the desk.
Yeah.
You would let it just get in the way of everything.
Yeah, that was pretty
Like
bad.
she wouldn't spend any time with me. It was a very awkward year for us.
Yeah.
And that falls directly into all of this.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I want to actually, because this is a good comparison of that is a legitimate gaming addiction, whereas there will be a lot of people who were in a situation that I was in that may consider themselves addicted, but not actually, where during a decent portion of college, if gaming addiction was an actual thing, people would have said, oh, you're addicted to World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Because basically, in the majority of my free time, I would be playing World of Warcraft. Often I could skip meals and just play and play and play.
You still skip meals.
But the difference is the difference between like an actual gaming addiction and what I was going through was when it came down to it, I would still make sure I was at my classes.
Yeah.
And I could still like even if, let's say, 8 hours of my day was World of Warcraft, I would still make sure that I did go to my classes and do my tests and stuff. Whereas a legitimate addiction would be I play and all of a sudden I've skipped the entire day because I've been playing and I just wasn't paying attention to the world. I mean, yes, I had days where I was like, you know what, I'm not going to go to class because I want to play some more. But there's a difference between saying, I don't want to go to class today, tomorrow I will, compared to, no, it doesn't even acknowledge, like it's in my periphery. I'm not focused or caring about that. I just want to play WoW.
Right.
I think everyone at some point, like the hardcore MMO guys,
Especially MMOs. Yeah,
we
it's
all
very
fall into
easy.
it at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
Because with the nature of especially old school MMOs like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 11,
11, yeah.
you could just live your life there.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It
And
was
as
a
As long as
job.
you're paying the sub.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm saying, though, is with games like that, that's often it's not an addiction. It's you need to be an adult and manage your time and understand that certain things need to be done at certain times. And that's simply a self-discipline. You have to do this. Whereas the mental illness portion is kind of what Natalie went through, where it is a legitimate addiction. And this kind of like MMOs are going to create the fuzzy area for all of this because of the fact that it is ongoing. There's so much stuff that you can almost always make something for you to do.
Yeah.
And that's going to bring a lot of that's going to be the that fuzzy zone, kind of like with kids nowadays with like ADHD, how some kids actually have it, and then others are parents going, well, he's always active.
Yeah.
I gave my 10-year-old the coffee. I don't know why he's bouncing off the walls.
Exactly. Like they're just very energetic children
Yeah.
compared to actual attention disorders.
Yes.
Just like there's very enveloped hardcore gamers and there's gaming addiction.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the hardest thing with this becoming an actual mental illness. But I think all in all, I think it was a good thing that they finally came out and said, we are classifying this as an addiction, as a mental illness, so that people can actually get proper help, not just...
I agree.
Because in middle school, was it middle school? It was either no, it was high school. It was one of those schools. It was grade school, whatever. I was borderline addicted to gaming. And it caused my grades to suffer because I never did homework. I would like play during class because obviously I would go because my parents would make me go.
Right.
But like I'd play during class, I'd do all that. And my mom's solution was, your grades are down. I'm taking away all your gaming stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
She took away all my Game Boys, all of that. I wasn't allowed on the computer, nothing like that. And it legitimately felt like I was going through withdrawal of my life just got taken away.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what to do. I would get antsy because I'm like, but I could be doing this. Why am I not farming
Yep.
this item in Ragnarok Online?
Yep.
Like, why am I not doing this? And
Yeah.
that would have been something that, I mean, not the extreme case of addiction, but it was definitely borderline there for a while that like, it kind of gave me that simulation of going cold turkey and what it can do if you truly depend on this stuff.
Oh my gosh, I just had that that flashback of when I realized that I had a problem was when Ben was right, when I was just pretty much ignoring him, and he was like, "Okay, we need to talk about this," and I was like, "No, I can't. I'm doing this thing right now in the game," and he was like, I think he just flipped. He just had enough essentially, and just unplugged all the electronics. And as that happened, I just looked at the screen. I was like, no, like what did you do that for? And then I had no other option than talk to him. And that's pretty much when I realized I had a fucking problem.
Yeah.
I was like, I almost lost my mind, when he did that. And I was like, that's just not, that is not how I should be
And
reacting.
And the problem
You were
is,
doing something, but it wasn't even like an event or something. You
No,
were just,
it wasn't. It was like a
running to
fate
the
or
game
something.
store or
Yeah,
something
no,
like
it was
that.
a fate, I think, and I didn't want to miss it. And I was just like, all right, like no, I shouldn't be reacting like this. This is I really need to just either cool it, or just walk away from it. And I think after that event, I took a break for like a couple.
Whenever
of months.
Natalie and I have
And
serious
it's-
talks, we have a problem, and this is just for everyone else. Natalie, when she gets upset and wants to talk about things, kind of gets quieter and
Oh, I
doesn't
do.
want to talk.
Yeah, I do.
And I get very much like military-esque, where I'm like, no, we need to resolve the issue.
That's
So let's
just
start
how I've
talking
been
this
raised.
out.
Like
Yeah.
that's how my family deals with problems. We just don't talk about it for a couple of days, and
You
then
let
we
it boil up, and then
yeah.
eventually it explodes, and then you do it.
And I'm
We
like, no,
never
we have to
explode. That's the
discuss
thing.
this.
Yeah.
We're not going to sit here for a week and just have high tension. I've done it to Dan too, because Dan's very much like Natalie in that
Well,
sense.
'cause
where
it's European.
You're used to it now. Now we just talk about things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to be like, what
I
is
know.
it? What is it?
I
What
feel,
is it?
yeah, I feel like it's best that way. Honestly, just get it out of the way and
Yeah.
just talk about it.
Yeah.
And,
That's how I am. I don't like tension.
Yeah.
So like if we're having an argument,
It's
it's like, let's
the-
just
it's the
fucking talk
worst.
about it, get this over with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll just move on. We'll go play some video games.
Yeah.
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 But like the thing with what you were saying just there is with the whole like he had to unplug everything to help you with that.
Yep.
There are people out there who don't have that person
Exactly,
to unplug everything.
exactly.
And that's where
Yep.
these gaming addictions truly get worse and worse and worse
Absolutely.
because there's no one to monitor that this person is playing this much. There's no one to physically go there and be like, no, you're not playing.
Yep.
And it's when you're at that point, it's almost impossible to do it to yourself because you're like, well, I could unplug it,
But what
or
if
I
I
could
miss
farm
something?
these tokens
Yeah.
so I could
Yeah.
get this item that I'm
Yep.
going to need for this, and it becomes
Yep.
and like we were saying, MMOs are the
Easiest.
primary. Yeah, they're the easiest ones to get addicted to, but there are people that get addicted to the games like League of Legends, Overwatch, stuff like that, where it gets competitive, where they have that rewarding, oh, we just won, or we lost, but we could win the next one, and like having that, because with those ones, it's often, it could even be considered to be worse because MMOs are a long-term, almost always doing something, where those games are almost like you're taking hits of a game. Like you're in short bursts, you get that satisfaction or that rage, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I want to feel that euphoric sensation of winning the game again, and you keep playing
Yeah.
to get that sensation. But then once you win once, it's never enough. You want to win twice, but now you're on a roll. You want to win again and again and again and again. Then you lose, and you're like, but I need that good feeling. So
Yeah.
you keep playing until and so it's.
Yeah. It's tricky.
I had more to say about this topic than I thought I did.
Yeah, no, this has been a
No,
good one, I think.
absolutely,
But I
yeah.
think this is also a good place to end it right now because there isn't much more like research. It's just
Yeah.
our theories on it at this point.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, it only just recently, within like the past
Yeah.
week or two, got announced.
I will
as-
say I did get a text from my mom.
Yeah,
And I didn't
it's
know what was
funny.
going on. And she's like, how many hours a day do you play video games? How often do you play video
Yeah.
does video games get in the way of your job? And I responded with,
That's
kind
my
of a
job.
tricky question. It's part of my job.
exactly, because that like
But
that.
she got to the end and she's like, I think you classify as a gaming addiction. I'm like, what are you talking about?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think honestly, with that, if you hadn't responded in 3 days, then you
Yes,
might have. But if
yes.
you actually took the time to respond, maybe you're in an okay spot.
I'm in an okay spot.
But like, I mean, just before we finish this up, that actually, like, that is such a. That's what makes it so tricky nowadays, is the fact that a lot of people do play video games for a career.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like we get to the point that we have to play games for at least like 8 hours in one day so that we can make sure we've got enough stuff to talk about it for something. Like there are reasoning behind us doing it. And for someone like myself, where it's working is gaming, and then in my free time, maybe I want to enjoy myself with gaming, so I'll do it as a different game.
Yeah.
But someone whose job isn't gaming, that would be an addiction. But for me, it's my job and my free time. Like I want to enjoy it. And so that's where a lot of these classifications are tricky to quantify.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was my last little spiel.
Yes.
So,
All right. Well, Natalie, got anything if you want to finalize and say on this?
Honestly, I feel like if it's caught early enough, and if you have people around to help you, it's you can overcome this. But if you're by yourself, like Dan said, when you have no one to, so to speak, unplug your games for
Yeah.
you, then yeah, I'm glad it got diagnosed as a real problem.
Yeah.
It's about time. Yeah.
and for you out there, if you're listening and you legitimately do think you have a gaming addiction, don't feel ashamed. Go out,
no, absolutely.
see someone,
Yeah.
try and Try and get it to a healthy point. Having an addiction doesn't always mean fully giving it up. Yes, some cases it may be best because you may just always fall back into that cycle.
Yep.
But sometimes you can learn to moderate.
Yeah.
You can learn to make it a reasonable pastime, not a full time.
Honestly, I mean, I'm the living proof that you can overcome this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You
Seriously.
can overcome it and
can.
still enjoy
Yes.
your games in the long run.
Yep.
So. Any last words from you, Benny?
No, none at all. If you're wondering what I've been doing, I've been trying to figure out this Facebook gaming thing at the same time
Nice.
because I got to play more games.
Perfect. Oh my gosh. Perfect segue. No.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us today. If you want to talk to the team as a whole, it's at Eligible Monster on Twitter, or you can talk individually to Dan at DNTEditor, Natalie at Zodical Candy, and me at Comic Storian. I really should start up my own solo one again. I have it.
Infected Crow?
You won't.
At Infected Crow.
Was that like a challenge?
No, I just know you and you won't.
The reason I don't use the multiple accounts, it's a pain in the ass to swap.
And
That's
that's why
true.
I know you won't. That's why the Eligible Monster is conveniently run by all of us so that you don't have to focus fully on it.
Yeah, and
Me and Natalie have been doing a good job on
I
it.
and
know.
people actually know when you tweet because you always misspell stuff. Always.
On that note, I'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.